Going to a university, we all picture glamorous robes and fancy titles. But today we are diving headfirst into the world of higher education to uncover some hard truths that are not really found in these glossy brochures. I have done my master's from the UK and PhD from the US. And in these 5 years of studying abroad, I discovered and experienced some hard truths that are beyond coding marathons and caffeine-fueled mornings. And the thing is, people don't talk about it. I wasn't told about this before I started my PhD, and that's when I thought I need to make a video about this. So if you're about to start your graduate studies or you're already knee-deep in this, I think this video will be helpful for you to get familiar with some of the realities. Now let's start with the first one, isolation. PhD students are all by themselves. The students spend a lot of time working alone, working independently in their lab, and that brings disconnection with the social circles. And let me add here, PhD students also work late at night, and that is also most of the times by themselves. So being on your own for so many hours in a day leads to loneliness and isolation, and this needs to be addressed. So one major tip that I need to give is start building your social circle as soon as you start your graduate program. And if you're in the program and you're feeling lonely, please take counseling that is offered by universities. You can also join multiple social events that are organized by universities every now and then. I know it gets really hard to find time, but once in a while, try to fit this. And the third point that I really want to mention, which is also coming from my own experience, is to set deadlines that also includes your breathing space. For example, if you have to submit a deadline for a project, please include a day or two where you have your space to do network and to do socializing. Reality number 2, crazy hours. A study published in the journal Research in Higher Education in 2017 analyzed the time allocation of PhD students in the US, and that was on average 42 hours per week, with STEM students working around 50 hours per week on average. Another study published in Studies in Higher Education in 2018 showed that students work 50 to 60 hours per week towards the end of their research. And by end of research, I mean the last 2 years of your degree program. All this work includes lots and lots of coursework, teaching assistantship, research assistantship, and your own research and writing papers and funding opportunities and so on. Keep in mind that reaching home from university at 11 p.m. would not look absurd to you at all. But the problem here is more hours do not correlate with productive hours. So a PhD student or a graduate student in general is also doing a lot of mindless working, and that is often counterproductive. It actually kills your creativity and gets your brain to slow down, which will affect your actual research and actual work. So in those 50-60 hours per week, all students are not productive all the time, and therefore a break is much needed. Reality number 3, uncertainty and rejections. The journey of a PhD student is paved with uncertainty. Funding applications, research proposals, and journal submission. They all result in numerous rejections. Dealing with these setbacks require resilience, and you need the ability to bounce back from these disappointments. One thing you get for sure is a thick skin. Reality point number 4, and that is intellectual pressure. With PhD students, the hard part is that there is a constant pressure of producing something original. There is pressure to compete with the best of the best in their fields. You need to gather all the relevant updated information on your topic from whatever research is happening around the world. So you have to meet deadlines and you have to work fast, be on top of your game. Also, you have to be collaborating with the best of the best in your field. So apart from finishing your degree, this intellectual pressure is quite a lot, because it's not only defining these 4 or 5 years of your program, but it actually paves way for your future endeavors. Since the beginning of the graduate program, every student gets this passion to contribute new knowledge to their field, but this passion turns into pressure very quickly, and that gets overwhelming. Point number 5, imposter syndrome. Majority of the PhD students experience imposter syndrome. It is a feeling of inadequacy despite accomplishments. This feeling starts to creep in as soon as you start your journey, and then unfortunately it gets stronger and stronger as you go by and as your research develops. Under this imposter syndrome, there are 2 major feelings that I have felt as well, and I would like to share. The first one is you have not done enough. And the second feeling is you are not of that value to deserve the title. What I think happens is that imposter syndrome stems from the higher expectations from academia, the constant exposure to the experts in the field, and that makes you feel like you still don't know much. I am no expert, no psychologist, no counselor to help you with on something that's so serious, but sharing that many students feel that, I would advise that people should talk to their friends and families, and if you know anyone who is doing graduate studies or in their PhD program, please reach out to them. Just once in a while, go and ask them to meet for coffee. They would really need it, and what you need to do is just encourage and boost them that they're doing an amazing job, because most of the time they don't feel that. I can share that in my journey, I also felt like I am not doing that much good work, but I had my friends and my family who were my reinforcement. And let me add here, it doesn't go away as soon as you graduate. Imposter syndrome will take its time. As soon as you go to the next chapter of your life, it will start to decrease gradually. So be patient. Work-life balance struggle. This actually relates to the points that I've mentioned before. Because of crazy hours and because of so much work, there is an imbalance. You have to do research, you have commitments to meet deadlines. Most graduate students will have additional teaching responsibilities that comes with teaching classes as well as grading, along with doing research and their coursework. Here, balancing all of this with personal life or self-care can be daunting. It's incredibly challenging to actually find time to do all of that. Well, students do that. And if you see their calendars, it's filled up with appointments and deadlines. What happens is this constant juggling leads to burnout, and that affects your mental health and your physical health. So within that balancing of work and life, I would recommend something that I tried and it really helped me, and that was to work on your physical self. So I used to try and go to the gym in the morning, even if it's for half an hour. Even some days I just did 15 to 20 minutes, but that will boost your energy levels and will also help you with your mental health. So these were some hard realities. Unfortunately, they do exist, but this video was absolutely not to discourage anyone to not do any higher education. The point was to tell you that this is a transformative journey. With all the perks and pros comes a little bit of these hard truths that should be mentioned and should be talked about. Let's not forget that in this journey with these hard realities, you also get personal growth, self-development, skills that you never thought you would actually develop. But by the end of the program, you become a pro at it, and the opportunity to contribute meaningfully in your field. This whole journey just accelerates your learning curve. You can also tell me any other topics that you would like me to talk about, and I would be happy to consider it. Until my next video, bye.